Welcome to the last best of 5 of the evening, and the last best of 5 weekly play. We will see some more in the playoffs, but this is the last match day of Season 2 of the FSL. We're on Newkirk Precinct, spawning to the bottom left in teal, playing Zerg for HTT in Russia. It's Sunokasuri. Who's going for a proxy hatch build? Indeed! And to the bottom right, in red, playing Terran for Euronics Gaming and Austria, it's Sylvanas. So let's see. Suno with the old proxy hatchery. Okay, wants to start the game with a quick win, maybe even demoralizing her opponent by cheesing her. Let's see how it actually works out. We don't see Suno proxy hatching against Terran that often. Most of the time she does it against Protoss players, and she mostly did it on Daybreak, but that map is not in the map pool any longer. I'm still sure she will find other maps with good locations for proxy hatchery shenanigans. So, seems as if, yeah, I mean, I think this is again just playing the opponent. We've talked about this so much again and again and again, that Sylvanas is one of those Terran players who really likes to take her command center on the low ground, and that a player who knows this could actually take advantage of that. And Suno does. That's what Suno does. She just analyzes her opponent's play, looks for weaknesses, and exploits them. And we can already see her doing this. So, first two links already in, will probably force a cancel on this. I mean, the SU will just go down in an instant, and Sylvanas will already be like, what the fuck? Where did these links come from? Now she just needs to she just needs to get her Reaper back completely at home. Well, it's not a cancel yet, but she won't really be able to work on that much longer. Yeah, Suno still has this proxy hatchery standing around, not doing anything with the lava. Don't really know what else she wants to do with it. Sylvanas now finds what it is. Okay, goes into roaches, and Sylvanas just gives up immediately. GG. Cactus Valley is our second map. And we have Suno, who just managed to take a very quick win with a proxy hatch. And to the bottom left in red, we have our Terran Sylvanas, who hopefully this time around will make it a little bit deeper into the game. So let's see what Suno's up to this time. It's a 4-player map, so Suno won't be able to just straight away proxy hatch. We'll have to find her opponent first. Actually, it's a good position for Zerg here, with the Terran cross spawning. If it's a close spawn over here or over here, the routes that Terran has to take in order to push are looking actually longer than they are. So for like some sort of parade push to get towards your natural base, and even into the third base, because it's pretty close by, so even if you can't get into the natural, you may as well still walk right into the third base. Especially if you come from like this angle, it becomes really problematic. Then you usually want to take a third base over here. Yeah, it can be quite difficult to deal with. And then we have, of course, some spots that are quite annoying with Liberator harassment again. I mean, at least there are no spots where you can't really get the Liberator. So at least that got fixed. So, barracks out, and the first Reaper in production. Sylvanas just... No way you gonna proxy hatch me again on a 4-player map, so what the fuck, I just get my usual base on the low ground. You can't keep me from that. And in the meantime, checking for everything. Both players have not found their respective opponent yet. Suno will just be able to cross one possibility out. And Sylvanas will find her opponent in just a few seconds. Should now know. Ooh, well, now, if she just watched the minimap, because it was only a close encounter. A very short encounter. So, never mind, it was a very short encounter here. But yeah, now she knows Where her opponent is, might just even check for a third straight away, although it's a little bit early there, but around 2:30 to 3 minutes you really want to check whether your opponent is taking a third or not. In the meantime, we have Suno producing a lot of lings. No Baneling Nest yet, so it seems as if our little Bane busting bitch doesn't want to Bane bust for now. And don't forget, I didn't give her that name. She just used it herself. I'm just using the name she gave herself, so never mind. Or maybe someone else gave it to her, but she still used it. She still uses it. At the meantime, we can only wait a little bit longer for what's actually going to happen. We have double marine production and a factory right behind it. Just expecting a starport to come out pretty soon there. Sylvanas already has the money to produce it. Don't know what she's actually waiting for. Another bunker getting thrown down. Actually, yeah, I mean Sylvanas always taking her sweet time to seal off the entrance towards her natural base. I mean, it's 3:19, but still, it seems as if Suno actually taking a little bit of a late base, you can say. 3:30 almost before she takes it. You usually just want to have it a little bit earlier. Reaper will discover it immediately. So Sylvanas knows what's up. The wall is not tied yet, and some speedlings are already making their way towards the base. They won't really deal that much damage, but Suno might be able to at least... Okay, doesn't really want to lose that links even for possible scouting information. Yeah, probably not. I mean, if Sylvanas reacted quickly in time, she would just close that supply depot, and all the links would just be lost. Unfortunately, losing that overlord over here, Sunokasuri was not paying attention anymore, because that overlord was still on auto scouting path from the northern part, and just flew into the natural base, and Sunokasuri was not really watching it anymore, so lost it. In the meantime, we have upgrades for Suno as well, starting the upgrades a lot quicker than her opponent, but Sylvanas already invests into a third base, wants to play a stretched out macro game here, so we will probably see a little bit of a longer game this time around. Still no Baneling Nest here, which is quite interesting there. I mean, if Sylvanas actually committed to some sort of Hellbat Marine push at that point in time, I mean, Suno does not really know that much about her opponent, does she? No, actually nothing. So that's rather risky, I think, playing without a Baneling Nest for that long. Like I said before, if her opponent just wanted to go into some sort of Hellbat Marine push, with maybe the help of one medevac, it would just hit in about... Yeah, I mean, if it's really sharp on time, it could hit around 5:30 or 6 minutes. And yeah, no Baneling Nest around. Could be tricky to deal with. Especially with the Hellbats and the Marines right behind them. So, yeah, a little bit lucky there for Sunokasuri, I'd say. That Sylvanas is not doing such a thing. I mean, even if you study your opponent and you see that they very likely go into a specific build, you can't really assume that they will do this certain build every time. I mean, yes, there are some players out, even some players of the FSL, who just use the same build over and over and over again, and thus become very predictable, and you can easily outplay them, because you just know what they will do every game, and you can easily rely on that. And that makes it actually even trickier for your opponent to win against you. But yeah, if you have a player that's actually capable of playing different styles and different... okay, don't really know what that was all about. She just she just had the Reaper. Okay, okay, obviously that was what it was all about. She saw that there was a Ling occupying the Zanaga Tower, didn't want to give away that her army was moving out, so she just moved it back a little bit to make it possible for the Reaper to kill the Ling. And now Sunokasuri does not actually know what's going on, but she's sensing something. I mean, why would your opponent just clean off that Reaper right like that? So she already has a lot of units in position. That's a lot of Zerglings only. Like I said before, okay, finally she got the Baneling Nest. Okay, maybe it was over there and I was just missing it all the time. So then never mind. Forget what I was just saying. I think I just forgot to spot the Baneling Nest because I was just suspecting it to stand behind the main mineral line, but it was always behind the natural mineral line. So never mind. Sunokasuri didn't have any holes inside her game. Everything was just fine and dandy. Now surrounding all of the units, actually forcing the tanks to shoot at their own units partly. and now getting taken out as well. Unfortunately, no lift up for siege tanks anymore. So that attack actually didn't accomplish anything for Sylvanas, unless getting a third base up, but it's not really well protected, and now Sunokasuri just runs across the map like crazy. Supply depot goes up, there's at least one Widow Mine here, so it might help out. Bam! Very nice Widow Mine connection over here. That was actually 21 kills in one shot. That's just freaking ridiculous. 21 kills. Okay, try to do that with a Psy Storm, or try to do that with a Baneling hit, with one Baneling hit. I dare you. So that was really a ridiculous hit, but it kind of saved Sylvanas for now. So if it hadn't been for that Widow Mine, Sunokasuri might have actually broken through here. That was really close. Then of course, nice micro there by Sylvanas, having that siege tank surrounded by all of these mules counter-repairing, so that Sunokasuri couldn't really break through and kill off that tank, and wasted even more units. But they were units she could easily waste, no problem. In the meantime, she already took a 4th base and now just needs a little time. I think in her case, yeah, of course she now wants to remake a lot of units for now, because she has to fear that her opponent might counter-push even after destroying that force. But yeah, if I were in her shoes, I'd probably drone like crazy. Just use up all of my lava that I have, 10 lava, and just make it into workers to saturate that 4th base as soon as possible, while transitioning into maybe even lair tech, or maybe even hive tech by now. She has some gas over, but I think she just wants to wait for the Spire to pop, and will now just produce 14 to 15 mutas at once. There they go, and that could just be the killing blow for Sylvanas. She does have at least 2 turrets inside her main base, but 15 mutas can take out a turret quite quickly. She doesn't have any turret over here at the 3rd base, and I think the 3rd base will probably be where Sunokasuri will attack first with the mutas. Well, it depends. There are 2 kind of muta players. One muta player who will always go for the main first, and then the muta player who will always go for the freshest expansion first. The muta player that opts to go, then there are of course the muta player who just uses the mutas for straight up engagements. But yeah, it just depends what you really want to do with the mutas. If you want to get your mutas inside the main base, you usually just want to kill off production normally. The workers are not really that important for you, and the income of the Terran doesn't bother you as well. You usually just want to get inside and kill off like add-ons, kill off production, just make it more difficult for a Terran to get his production up again. Or her production in this case. And if you are the muta player who just goes into the 3rd first, you want to actually keep the opponent from mining, keeping the economy low. And that actually, I mean, the style, which style is actually better depends on what your opponent is usually doing at that point in time, and how far she might be up ahead at that point in time. Because at some point, it doesn't really matter if you kill off the Terran's economy anymore. I mean, unless you manage to kill off all the economy in like one swift attack. But then at some point, like I said, it just doesn't matter anymore. The opponent can just use a lot of mules, can just reproduce too many workers at once, and then it doesn't really matter. Okay, now even getting the battle cruiser as it came out. Unfortunately, it was too tucked back right above that starport, so the counter repair didn't really work out. But yeah, right now Sunokasuri just playing hide and seek with her opponent, playing ring around the rosy, always moving from one part where the Terran is not to another part, and Sylvanas just has to move and move and move around with all of her marines, can impossibly attack all of those forces. GG's out, and Suno takes the 2nd map as well. Belchir Vestige is the 3rd map of this best of 5. We have Sunokasuri spawning to the bottom right, and Sylvanas is our red Terran to the top left. Belchir Vestige, another old, I think even Wings of Liberty map, if I'm not mistaken. Wings of Liberty, at least HOTS, at least Heart of the Swarm, but I think this one might be even older. And I think I've played this map back in Wings of Liberty, but I'm not quite certain anymore. I'm just trying to remember all of my games with Zerg or Protoss or Terran on this map, and try to remember if I had Widow Mines on this map, or if I had... what other units? If I had Oracles, or if I had... what did Zerg get? If I had... oh, I think this was a HOTS map. I think I can remember Swarmhost map, the Swarmhost matches. I think Swarmhosts were a thing here, right? So this must be a HOTS map then. Because I think I can remember Swarmhost engagements, where I either played against Swarmhosts or where I used Swarmhosts against other players. So I think this should be a HOTS map. But whatever, Sylvanas already going for the low ground expansion. Same for the, yeah, of course, same for Sunokasuri. Just going for the usual good old Zerg play. Hatch into gas into pool. Nothing out of the standard here. Same for Sylvanas. Ooh! A triple CC! Triple CC into whatever. Wow, the greed. The greed. Probably just even wants to use this command center to land it over here for some sort of an hidden expansion, because that is an expansion you don't check that often as a Zerg player. You usually just check for that third, and then of course your attack path right into the natural just leads across the map like this. So you either go this path or you go this path, but then of course you go just right through the middle here, and then just come in here. So you will never actually get close to this base. But it seems... I mean, Suno will just send her Overlord in over to the left-hand side, and we'll just send it in later. So she will probably just see the command center, even if it lifts, and then just wants to go over here for a ninja expansion. She should just easily see it. And I mean, wow, Suno even going for a Baneling Nest. Once she realizes what Sylvanas is up to, and once she realizes that there's no wall whatsoever, I think our little bee-busting bitch will just make herself, or will just give proud to her name. Yeah, I mean, there's the speed, it's almost done. Baneling Nest is almost done. A lot of links are already running. Yeah, I mean, once Suno she sees it, she just sends in the Overlord to make sure that nothing gets built. Yeah, this is Baneling Bust for certain, and maybe even a drop. No, probably not. More and more links being produced. Yeah. Expect Baneling Bust any minute, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're going to see. I mean, it's always an invite. You can't really blame Sunokasuri at all. I don't think this was her initial idea. Maybe it was. Because, I mean, again, this map is pretty inviting. And now it just comes in with all of the links. Will easily take down this SCV over here. All of the SCVs will just have to move away from the base. Sylvanas not raising the supply depot, and all the links even making it inside the base. She can actually just seal off this area. Wants to throw down the supply depot in order to keep these units back for a little bit more. But now, of course, all of the Zerglings just reign supreme close to the inside of the base here. This base is mostly forfeit for now. And like I said, they're the main links already morphing. GG! And Suno takes the third game for a 3-0 victory.